You know, it's the new year. Everybody has their goals and resolutions that they're going to do. We're going to talk about just one simple resolution or goal and how we can get there simply. Welcome to the Golf Shop. Jim McCleary here, and this we're going to talk about golf club reviews, golf club repairs, golf club fittings, all so your scores can go low. If you would, like, subscribe, hit that stuff across the bottom. That way, all this information gets out to the YouTube universe. Now, resolutions and goals. Resolutions, you know, everybody lose weight, do all that stuff. And in golf, it's like, you know, the biggest thing is, you know, score better. Hit longer drives, putt this, that kind of stuff. And rightfully so, right? We want to, the bottom line is, whatever you want to do, that score that you wrote the last time, you want to make smaller this time. At least I hope so. I mean, that's kind of the idea, or at least beat your buddy, right? So how do you do that? In the most simplistic way, how do you do that? Now, I'm not going to be here, and I'm not going to tell you about all the golf tricks and trinkets that are out there. Some do work, right? However, the biggest part of this is you, right? If you don't play, or if you don't practice, or you don't get better. I mean, that's true for any sport, unless you're some sort of phenom, all right? Unless you're that phenom. Now, how do you do that? Well, and do you have to do a lot of it? No. See, that's the whole problem here, is that people go out and, oh, I bang, you hear of only the extreme. All right, the Tiger Woods, the Hogans of the world, hitting these tremendous amounts of golf balls or these practices in order to figure out what works and doesn't work for them. Well, that's grand. They're making a living at it. All right, the other 99.9% of us golfers out there have other jobs, do other things, and, you know, family sometimes gets in the way. All these things, this is not our primary focus. This is a very, very fun hobby. Some people get very serious about it, and okay, you know, but those guys that are very good, I'm here to tell you, have put in the time. You have to put in the time. Now, how much time do you have to put in? There's the question, right? So here's the reason why this is on. We're getting ready to go to the PGA show. It's in a week. Literally, it's in a week. How about that? And we go down there, and I go and I play golf with a whole bunch of other club fitters and club makers such as myself. Mostly fitters, not so much makers anymore. And traditionally anymore, I'm literally one of the oldest guys out there. And I'm over 60 years old now. And these guys are in their 20s and their 30s, sometimes their 40s. So I'm 20 years, a lot of these guys senior. And of course, you know, my ego is still in this. I want to hit better. I want to play better. And these guys are all, I'm sure they're all out there hitting in simulators and doing all these things, because a lot of them are in the northern part of the U.S. and we're all covered by snow right this very minute. I'm looking right out at it. I got 8 inches of snow in my yard. So how do you get better just normally? Well, this is what I want to take. So here's what I did. For 5 days straight, 5 days, I hit 20 golf balls. That's it, 20 golf balls. Now, that's to be measured. What I did was I hit enough golf balls to where I was feeling like I was warmed up. That could be anywhere between 5 and 15. All right, it just depends on the part of the day, whether it's the beginning of the day after doing a walk and maybe some stretching, or maybe I was at work all day and I came back in here at the end of the day, and that's where we want to do. So it was warm-up balls, then just 20 golf balls. Now, the other thing I want to tell you is I haven't touched a golf club in almost 2 months. The climate here went south really bad. I went out and I was having other things going on internal to the family, and that's either near or there, but that just took precedence, okay? So 2 months. And this is just what 20 golf balls a day get you. So let's go check that out. Okay, here we go. How do we get better when we play golf just by hitting 20 golf balls? Well, let me show you here. So what we did is I took an 8-iron just for something to hit because it was easy. And you really don't want to make it so difficult when you get started doing something like this. When you set a goal or make a resolution, you want to make sure that it's just far enough outside that reach, right? So could I start it with a 5-iron or 6-iron? Yeah, but it would have been extraordinarily harder to get to what I wanted to do done. So I picked a shorter iron. A 7 would have done fine, and probably would have been smarter based on all the other things I have available to me. But it wasn't about the gear, it was about the guy at the end of the gear. And what that means is, how do we get started? Now, I have been away from swinging for almost 2 months. Now, I've been doing fittings and that kind of stuff, but actually hitting golf balls, it's been about 2 months. So here's how it starts. We go on day one. You see it right here, day one. And this is some pretty pathetic stuff. I'm barely swinging. I'm swinging, it looks like pretty much about the same. I can't get out of this funk out of here. I need to get a little bit more, but that's another thing. But look at this. This quality of hit is just absolutely pathetic. And that's what's causing me to have problems. Now, this is all, golf's a game of consistency. So if we go and we take a look of, this is all my stuff. I got some really bad shots. I got some pretty decent shots. I even got one that I got up to where this is where I want to get. But it was just this ginormous pull, so it doesn't count. However, I want to show you what it looks like. This is my first outing with this. Look at where these things went. Holy cow. Do I know how to golf? Man, oh man, oh man. All right, so this is where we're at. This is me trying to get rhythm. There's some pretty decent shots in there, but there's a whole bunch of bad ones in there as well. So we got to go to day two. Day two, all of a sudden, collectively, got way better. I still got that one. This is going to be my nemesis, just letting one of these things go off to the side right there. And that's going to be just horrible. So if we look at this shot, and there goes that one stringer over there. But as a whole, looking a little bit better, right? Okay. Day three. We look at day three. When it comes in here, it's getting a little wider. Now, in a lot of cases, day two, you're kind of trying to feel your all cracks and crevices and bones are creaking and things. You think day three is going to get it? Nope. Day three is pretty much going to be a little worse. And look, the spread's coming back. I don't know what's going on. What's happened is my psyche has told me I'm ready to go on day three, and I'm trying to put more into it than I should, and I'm getting pretty horrible results. All right, so day four. All of a sudden, day four don't look too bad. Day four is getting a little bit tighter. I'm still trying to get it out there, but now I'm starting to find a little bit of form. Then that's the important part, is trying to find the form here, right? I'm not getting any faster, but as a whole, I'm getting faster. I'll show you what I mean by that. And then we're going to go to grouping. And then there's day five. Day five is even as tight, but it's more towards the center. You saw that move, right? And there's those shots right there. And of course, my last bits of shots, I want to get the carry distance at 160 or above. I'm getting close, and that's what we're shooting for. Now, if we go back and we look at this grouping, this was day five. And I got one sitting outside the circle, but if you look at that, that's pretty doggone tight. There's I got a little flopper right there at 100. But we go to day four, that was all of it, but I was pulling a lot. So it's all bins, and I think that's probably a little bit better setup than maybe that. Then we go to day three, and see, it's still improving. Now we're going backwards, right? There's day two, and there's day one. Day one is everywhere. So if we go with day one, that is just absolutely horrendous. Not going past 110, that kind of stuff, for a guy that normally hits it out to 160. All right. Then all of a sudden it's starting to get a little bit better. We're doing okay, caught a flyer, and plus that one that's way on the outlier. Then we're starting to get a little tighter. Then, here we go. Now we're hitting them. And then we got a couple of dribblers and that kind of stuff. But I'm losing the ones. I was actually hitting hosel rockets, and that's not good at all. So if we look at some of these, we started 80. There's some 85. Some 87s getting in there, but I hit them poorly. I hit one very well. That's all right. The swing speed's starting to get back up in there. Now, so if we go back between day four and day five was 83 to about 87 on the average. but my smash factor was getting much, much better. On this one, I started getting up into the speeds that I was wanting, but just couldn't quite get that consistency. And that consistency is what we're looking for, right? That's what we're looking for, is how do we get it out there with all that speed? And that just comes down to practice. So if we look at it, there's day one, which was poor. And the only reason why this one is lower than this one is because it's looking at total distance, okay? And so that's the reason why it's here. But I carried it another 6 yards further. So if we get here, day two, massive improvement as far as carry, only 2 yards longer. This one, day three, was the horrible day. And then day four, I picked it up. And all of a sudden, if we compare it against the very first day, now I got 12 yards and 4 yards. My spin rates are getting better. And then day five, just a yard each way, but as we saw, a little bit straighter right here, just a little bit straighter, and just a hair more spin. So we went from 6,200. Day two got really spinny, but it didn't get out there very well because I wasn't swinging as fast. And then next thing you know, we get in these other, we lower a little bit of spin, get a little bit better here, pick up about a mile per hour, and then that's where we're at. But the consistency is getting there. And we get to see the roll is not too bad. It's pretty consistent. I am not angle of attacking the ball like I used to in the past, so we're getting through it a little bit better. So that's what we're seeing. If we want to, if you want to get a little bit better, you got to hit the golf balls, and that's just really what it's all about. I know it's nothing magical, it's nothing out there, but unfortunately, that's the hard truth of it. Let's get better. Let's go hit some shots. And look, this is 20 apiece, right? This is 20 apiece with a purpose is better than 100 with none. All right, as you can see, I'm not blowing it out there 240 yards like some of the younger guys are doing with jacked up golf clubs and whatnot. I'm just not doing that. But that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is when we go out there and we do these rotations, or these, what are we going to call them, sessions. When we go and do these sessions, you got to go in there with one or only two things that you want to accomplish, and you got 20 golf balls to figure it out. So for me, it narrows, it focuses me on what I have to do. So if you saw the first 20 were pathetic, it was just absolutely, there was things that were going on, and you're just like, how in the devil am I going to make this work? And it was just first one was just getting rhythm. It really didn't matter about where I went and what I did. It was just rhythm, okay? The second one, when we got going, was doing the basics, the grip, the stance, the posture, the ball location. It was just all basics. And making the turn, making sure that you were finishing, which in a lot of cases, from a fitter's perspective here, guys, that's really hard for a lot of people to do. They think they're finishing, but they're not, okay? You'll see some like this. You see some that finish low, that are out here. I mean, a traditional finish, hands up in here, as much as your body will allow. So now I got that. So now we've got tempo, or just getting my rhythm going to the basics of trying to make that happen. And let me tell you, it's frustrating because you know what you can do and you're not doing it. And so that's the second. The third of this is to get your brain out of it. That's hard to do. Get your brain out of it. Get rid of those expectations and start with something to try and improve with. All right? And then all of a sudden it should start kicking in. It should start kicking in. And you're like, okay, now I've got my posture. Can I do it 20 times in a row? How far back? Am I reaching back too far? Or am I reaching back far enough? Or whatever it is I need to do. Because I know when I first started doing this, I was reaching back too far and it was throwing my timing off and I was grounding the club, and it was absolutely frustrating, okay? And it just absolutely irks me when I take a fat shot. I would much rather hit one thin than hit one fat, all right? All day long. Then all of a sudden, I was like, I go back and this is what I keep thinking about middle of the year. Hey, bonehead, you're not going back as far or to a point that you know is comfortable. The minute I do that, contact shows up and the quality of hit goes up. So now I'm concentrating on quality of hit, and I got to pour some speed into it. Now, how do you make speed? Speed is I'm not going to say this is what you got to do or how you got to go do this. There are training tools out there to help you generate speed. But I'm here to tell you, if you practice slow, you'll play slow. If you practice fast, you'll play fast. So you can't be afraid when you're in here hitting balls or at your place to try and go 110, 120%. Keeping your posture, keeping your form. It doesn't do any good to jump out of the box and run around your simulator. You got to try and just pour more into it. Now, you can do that. There's several ways to do it without all that stuff. You can turn the club around and swing as hard as you can, 10 times that way and 10 times the other way. All right, that's just getting started. Now, there are other places to do that. Now, how else can you get faster? You can start getting in shape, right? Getting in shape allows your muscles to twitch faster, get better, okay? Like I said, I went with Dr. Guidry that one time, and we saw massive improvements. My scores lowered, the whole 9 yards, for doing a whole bunch of simple exercises that was no more than 20 to 30 minutes a day. All right, these are not, you got to go out and sweat and turn Arnold Schwarzenegger. That is not it at all. Just the right kind of exercises for the right kind of things that you need to do. And within a couple of months, you're going to see, well, within a month, you'll certainly see these improvements that you want to keep going, hence making your resolutions go there. So so that's what it is. You got to practice. If you want to play better, you got to practice. If you're going to practice, practice with a mission, practice with a purpose in order to get better. Just don't go bang 20 balls and go, well, I didn't see anything bad. No. Go in there with postures, basics, speed, contact, whatever it is that you want to do. Practice your finish, right? Practice your grip. Make sure that you can see the club hitting the ball. These are all basic things that most people that aren't practicing pick up. You notice how your scores start getting better right around that May, June, July time frame because you've been playing a while and everything's coming back. Well, how about you get that part now, right? Go to the indoor places. If you're in the South, go to the ranges and just get you that medium bucket of balls or a large bucket of balls and go there with a purpose, right? Go there with a purpose and just practice on one of those things. You're not going to get them all at each one, all right? When you walk out there in your first session, you are not going to pull out and you're not going to have summertime form by that time frame. Go there and within a couple of weeks, you might actually get to it. And when you hit that first tee on your first part of your season, you're going to be like, wow, this is so much better. And now you can build from there, okay? So again, hopefully you enjoyed what you saw. Join us Mondays on our live stream. We're going to talk more about this very same thing with the community that we talk with and what they do in order for their scores to go low. And as always, let your scores go low.